So guys, so it's time for the top tier, and I'm going to split this into 2 parts actually, most of top tier, but I'm not going to get to all of it in one video, because I want to do that and then like the top 3 here. And with top tier, these are the characters that for the most part are just extremely strong, right? And they either don't have any particularly like massive exploitable weaknesses, or their strengths are so absurd that they more than compensate for any weaknesses they might have. And a lot of these characters should be like the meta relevant characters and have been for quite a while actually. Let's get right into it. Snake, he's been like top tier since day 1, barely been changed, and it's pretty easy to see why. His grenades are just dumb. He's heavy, he hits hard, he has some of the most powerful moves in the game with like grenades, dash attack, up tilt, and his only real weakness is like disadvantage state under pressure, especially because he can like up B and escape disadvantage state if you give him too much room. You can use grenades against him, and certain characters with really good projectile games or really good runway games are kind of hard for him to deal with because he's kind of slow and grenades can explode on top of him. But really, for the most part, he's just like character where it's like, hey, approach into me. Oh, by the way, I'm doing a lot of damage and stuffing all your approaches out and not dying. And if you get close to me, I combo break with grenades, trade favorably for me. It's so scary. Next up, you got Fox. Fox is this character that he's just almost always a good character. You have a fast character with an extremely powerful combo game, and he has extremely good advantage state everywhere, except edge guarding, but he has great ledge trapping and juggling. Kills pretty well because he can combo to it from there, which is one of his best moves. Extremely good shield pressure game. He does not have a good grab, to be fair, but it's fine. Like, his only issue, of course, is just disadvantage state. Always has been, always will be. And he kind of has to make some committal, like, choices in neutral because he doesn't have range. And he has to get, like, on top of people due to not having a ranged spacing tool. But that's fine. He makes up for it because he himself is the projectile. He himself is the spacing. And because he's so fast, you end up having to read a lot of his stuff and aren't able to react to him, which is so hard to deal with at the top level when you try to, like, zone him out and you're doing all these things that are reactable. So Mim is a character that has an absurd neutral, but she's like one of the most lopsided top tiers because her neutral is extremely good, but then she actually has a lot of issues. She has blind spots like above her where like she has to commit pretty hard to jump and catch them. She sometimes hits very hard and kills very early, and then sometimes she's just poking with a lot of like weak arm attacks and not comboing it too much, and then it's like whatever. And then her disadvantage state's really poor. She doesn't have a good mash move and disadvantage, or she's getting comboed, or she's getting juggled. Her ledge game stinks. Her recovery, it depends on the matchup and the positioning. Sometimes you can't contest it, sometimes it's really bad. She's slow in the air. She's very heavy though, but really, it all goes back to the fact that her neutral is so absurd. She has to be outplayed to get approached. You have to like find a way to get close enough to her after dealing with her first set of arms to then read her next set of arms to get hitting. And that is a problem. When Mimic players get extremely good, you're very, very good when you traverse her, and you're going to get blown up pretty hard for that, losing it. And then her advantage state, it's a little bit overrated, but it's still really good. She definitely messed up a lot of the characters' recoveries with down tilts or forward smash 2 frames. Her ledge trapping is definitely really annoying. Even if you get the ledge, getting out of the corner versus her pressure is really difficult. She just has enough anti-air tools. Add in some explosive power with Megawatt being dumb, Buff Dragon, a big grab that like sets up stuff. And she is a character that's been nerfed quite a bit. I kind of debated putting her high tier, but I look at a lot of her matchups and go, yeah, she's still pretty overwhelming. Ends up still being a top tier. Speaking of nerfed characters, we're actually getting to a lot of them right here. So Palutena. She is a really good character, but she is no longer this like oppressive top 5 free character she was after the forward air and grab nerfs, along with other nerfs over time. So because of the forward air and grab nerfs, she kind of lost a really important pressure tool in forward air, being minus like 3 or 2, whatever it was. Because now, before she could do like forward air and air as like a block string, and a lot of characters couldn't really do anything about it. But now pretty much any character can just kind of get away from her after she forward air as their shield. Unless she like hard chases them down with a very committal option. And that's a big deal. That hurts her pressure a lot. It also hurts her combo game a little bit. Not that like is hurt too much. And then the grab nerf means that her best grounded spacing tool, which is just standing grab, is hurt. She can no longer just like shield stuff and punish, and no longer just run around and kind of fish for that outrange moves with it. And like, it's not the worst, it's still a decent sized grab. It's no longer this monstrously broken tool that kind of negated a lot of shield pressure. A lot of characters had these moves that are a little bit laggier, but were safe because of the range and no longer have that. And to the fact that she still has her weaknesses of struggling to get out disadvantage. She actually surprisingly struggles to kill too. And she ends up being this really good defensive character with her movement and her projectiles and like back air that is really good at this defense, but sometimes feels lacking in other areas. Until she hits you, and then she hits you and it's like, oh god, how do I get out of this? So Wario's a character I used to think was number 1, because like he's fast, he's heavy, great fame data, good combos, good kill power, command grab, bike is an interesting tool, surprisingly good ground game as well. Things like forward to 2 framing especially are nutty. And then you had Waft, right? And the thing is, the Waft nerfs hurt. The Waft is a lot slower now, but it can still combo into it well enough. It's just a lot harder to do it. A lot of times it requires like certain setups, certain percents, and the opponent not DIing the best, but sometimes he just gets like a nair combo into like up air, and it's still just true. Like he still has great setups for it. He's still a monster in advantage state. He's one of those characters that, because he's so good in the air, you might say, oh, I just anti-air him a lot. And the truth of the matter is, even if you start anti-airing him, because he's so mobile in the air, he can just slightly mix up his air approaches and get on top of you and blow you up with his ridiculous combo game. So really good, but definitely was hurt by the nerfs. I can definitely see why a lot of people don't like want to play him right now, but I think if people keep playing him, he'll still keep getting these insane results. All right, Zero Suit. The nerfs hurt her a bit. So the nerfs to Nair and what was it, Nair and Up B, they were pretty harmful actually to her game plan. Like she's still an extremely hard character to lock down. She still has really good spacing tools there. Her advantage state is still, while it's not explosive generally, it's still consistent. It's still very safe. Down B is still a dumb tool for disadvantage, but she definitely doesn't put the pressure on anymore because of the Nair nerf. Now it's like she does it and you can kind of just get away from her a lot of times. And also the Up B nerf means you can no longer kind of look her and like run around and look for like chances to Up B you, because those like -4. I mean, there's like frame 4 or something, right? So because she actually like can't just fish for that anymore, that hurts her explosive kill power and a more aggressive like run up Nair pressure you, run up like beta and attack, and then like block it and Up B game plan. So the fact that she's more reliant now on just playing a super defensive spacing game versus all these like really like hard hitting characters that he wants to just blow you up, it doesn't put her out of top tier, but honestly 1 or 2 more nerfs could put her out of there. Next up you got Shulk. Shulk is this character that he's really good. Oh, I feel like he's weird in the sense that like a lot of fighting Shulk is just being really good with your timing. Because like if you recognize like when his arrows are coming out, you can consistently parry them, and depending on his spacing, punish him maybe. With that said, that's like his only weakness, is that like he's very linear overall. He has lots of big safe moves, hits not too hard unless he has the right art setup, but he can hit hard enough. He sets up edge guards well. He like just has extremely good buttons for any situation. But because he doesn't have any like super broken stuff outside of situational, like I got you with this art in this situation, like I should have broke you with charge purple down smash, or I hit you with like red Minato edge guards, which is all good. He also is a really simple character, and that's what really holds him back honestly from being like a top 5 character even. It's not even enough like just tricks and the fact that he's kind of just swing sword in X direction. So I would hope Sonic isn't controversial, but I feel like he might be. This character is so absurd. Remember I always mention movement is key, right? King of movement right here. King of movement, but then he also has crazy good combos, a really good advantage state, and a pretty solid disadvantage state. And I feel like that's all I need to say. When he is good in every aspect of the game because of movement, like a lot of characters can't chase him. A lot of like kind of walling setups don't even work that well for him. You have to read his approaches a lot of times, or like block spin dashes and like play a guessing game afterwards. Which honestly, when you block spin dash from Sonic, he's not that good of a spot. But because Sonic players are so used to playing this situation, they're gonna play it better than you, even if it should directly be like a good position for you. Add into the fact that he has some really strong moves like forward smash, back air. It's simple but effective. Most characters can't even fight him on their terms, and that alone is a powerful thing to have when even some top tiers are just like, how do I hit this guy? And then you got Game Watch. Game & Watch is ultimate incarnate, right? He presses buttons and the buttons are good for him. Him being lightweight hurts. A lot of the DLC characters being really good swordies hurts him a bit. Just every button he has is so powerful. Add in really strong air mobility, up B as shield. I feel like this game wasn't built for up B as shield, because most characters cannot hit his shield safely, and this is a game where most characters are meant to hit your shield in a way where it's basically their turn if they space it and time it right, unless you parry. And he's like, oh, actually, no, don't do that. And to the fact that like he has absurd hitboxes on moves like down smash, up smash invincibility, forwarder gives him like plus on block pressure, which is so rare, and having plus on block pressure in this game is nutty. And then a recovery that is insane. It's like legit, the only reason he isn't like the best character in the game is because he's a featherweight. If he was, say, Rob weight though, he would be the best in the game by a huge margin. I mean, absurd margin. Despite the fact that he has a little bit of trouble approaching disjoints, it wouldn't be enough to keep him out of like that tier. And guys, with that said, that is it. The next video is going to be the last one, going over all the top 10 characters. So I'll see you then.